Jack, good morning. How are you, my man?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. How long you been out on the road? For a while now?
No, just about a week.
Oh, all right.
Not too long.
So,
Just kind of getting started.
and how long do you stay out? I know you don't like being away from home in Hawaii. I think you still live there. How long do you stay out for normally?
We do about 3 weeks out on the road, and then about the same back home. And if we're on a tour in year, it's about half. Like maybe we go out for a month, home for a month or two. Yeah, just off and on.
That's not a bad schedule.
No, it's not too bad. My wife always says she can notice it if I go over 2 weeks without waves, without being in the ocean. I start getting a little bit cranky, and so she points it out. I have to get home.
Does she go out on tour with you? Does she spend that month out on the road with you?
Yeah. The whole family always comes with me, so I got them all out there. So there's also a kind of a maximum of time you can have kids on the road before they start driving you crazy too, and you got to get back home.
How old are your kids?
I got 10-year-old, 7-year-old, and a 4-year-old.
Now, do they enjoy going out? I mean, it might be like an adventure for them, I guess.
No, they love it. Yeah, the tour bus is the best thing in the world. It's like a time-traveling machine. They get their own little bunks, and they play hide and go seek on there. It's like a clown car. When we pull up to a gas station or something, people keep coming off the bus because my piano player, he brings his family out when he can as well, and he's got kids, and it's pretty funny how many humans come off that bus sometimes.
Have you run into any bad experiences on the road? I know I was reading here that you were actually in Japan when that tsunami hit. I mean, you weren't in the tsunami, but what's the worst thing you've come across having your whole family out on the road so far?
Yeah, little things like that. We were just in South America, and there was a pretty big earthquake while we were in Chile, and it did nothing. It didn't turn to the point where buildings were crumbling or anything, but it was pretty scary. We were pretty high up in a building. Same thing with the earthquake in Japan. It started out as an earthquake, and we were at the top of a pretty high skyscraper in Osaka, and I had my kids with me, and a couple of them thought it was pretty funny. They were too young to know what was going on, and we were just getting thrown around the room back and forth and off the walls and stuff. And we had to run down 29 flights of stairs, and one of them was laughing the whole time. The youngest one thought it was hilarious. But yeah, that food poisoning every once in a while, things like that. It's not some huge catastrophe, but on a personal level, when you got food poisoning trying to play a show, that's about the worst.
Yeah, not only that, it's bad enough to have food poisoning, but if you're going to have it, you want to be at home base, so you can hit the toilet there. You don't want to be, some toilet at a venue or something.
It's not even. I mean, and that's even better if you can at least be by a bathroom. But when I was in New York one time and I had bad food poisoning, and it was just back when we were playing a club, so it was a few hundred people, but when you got food poisoning and a couple hundred people are staring at you the whole time, it's the worst.
You're sweating. You're like just clenching, hoping.
I threw up on stage. It was awful.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah, no, sorry, we won't go on with that. My bad.
You sort of got into music really kind of by accident, is my understanding. That you were in competitive surfing, you were injured, and then. Did you take up music after that, or was music always sort of a part of your life? And then after this injury that you got, then you really focused on it.
Yeah, it's the music part wasn't an accident, but the music, having it be my career was definitely a sort of an accident. I was doing the surfing. I was kind of flirting with the professional side of surfing. I grew up. I kind of remember the first time I surfed. It was just in our family and all my friends. My whole life was kind of based around it. And so when I was a teenager, I got to surf in some of the events that would come to Hawaii. And so I was involved. I was sponsored by Quicksilver, and I was getting into it, and it was my whole world. And then I had that injury. It helped me out for a little while, but I really was playing music a lot. And then I started making surf films, and we started putting some of the music in the background on the films, and it kind of grew from there. And I got invited out by Ben Harper to come on the road. He was a musician that liked to surf, and I was a surfer who liked to play music, so it worked out perfect. And that was the accident right there. Actually, it was one summer that was supposed to be the coolest summer of my life, where I got to open for my musical hero, Ben Harper, and it just kept going from there and turned into a career, so I couldn't believe it.
Your father was a professional surfer, right?
Yeah, well, they hardly had professionals back then. It's a pretty new sport, really. People kind of are still having trouble calling it a sport. Some people, so back when my dad was, there was some guys that I guess would call themselves pro surfers. They were barely making a living doing it. It was still a subculture. But my dad is one of those guys that was kind of a pioneer as far as big wave surfing over in Hawaii. He came over to he sailed a boat from California to Hawaii when he was 20 years old by himself. He's got kind of a crazy story, and got over to Hawaii. He was a boat builder and different things, and just they were surfing it even if there wasn't cameras around, things like that, And so my dad's one of those guys a lot of surfers know in the surf world, but he's more of a legend from that era.
I saw this guy on 60 Minutes. You probably saw this. This guy who, I forget, I think it's someplace over in Portugal or Spain where there's one area where at a certain time of the year, the world's biggest waves hit, and this guy surfed, like, I think he has the record for the biggest wave.
Yeah, Garrett McNamara.
I mean, this is absolutely insane. I've tried surfing once. It looks so easy when you see people out there doing it. You go, oh, yeah, I could probably, at least get my balance. Oh, my God. It's very, very difficult to pick it up. I mean, Jack's been doing it since he was 2 years old or something. So that obviously makes it much easier as opposed to me. I moved out to Southern California. I was in, and I'm like, oh, I'll give this a shot. No. It's very difficult. But a guy who does a huge wave like that, which I don't know what the record is, 100 feet or something like that. I mean, how dangerous and difficult is that, Jack? You would know that.
Yeah, it is. It's they're towing in now, which it's an interesting thing because they started doing these tow-ins back in, I guess it was around early 90s, and where you have a jet ski with a rope. It's basically like you're wakeboarding. You tow in behind this thing, and it pulls you into a big wave. That became real popular for a while, and now it's moved back where paddle-in surfing has become more popular because people realize it takes a lot more skill to be able to position yourself in the right place and actually use your arms to paddle in. What happened was kind of anybody could really, if you had the right person driving and you could just hold on to that rope, anybody could put you on the biggest wave. And so people started getting a little bit of trouble sometimes. People who weren't really experienced in the water started getting themselves on these huge waves and things. But the guys that really know what they're doing and they use the jet ski assisted kind of stuff, I mean, they end up on those ones you saw. And that guy Gary, I grew up with him in Hawaii, and he's a few years older than me, but I know him pretty well, and yeah, that guy's crazy, and he's got the skills to be able to be on those waves.
I mean, they could obviously it could kill you. I mean, this injury that you got, I think you were like 17 or something. I think when you
yeah, I was 17. I bashed my face pretty good against the reef. I got some new teeth in the front here now, and I got about 150 stitches between my forehead and my lip. I got a lot of stitches.
They must have done a pretty good job with this stitching because I'm looking at photos of you as they run the B-roll on RMG TV, and
they're all airbrushed.
Yeah, I mean they you don't really see any of these.
Yeah, and I got this line underneath my nose. My lip basically came off, and it kind of goes right underneath my nose.
Is that why you quit or decided not to pursue competitive surfing? Was it that accident, or did you just not love it enough to want to continue to pursue competitive surfing?
Yeah, the accident was just at that perfect time, and it gave me a great excuse. It was, I was never really that good. I was never good enough to really go on the level that the people who travel the world and surf in every condition. I was pretty decent in waves in Hawaii when they were on the bigger side. That was what I was used to surfing. But you kind of have to be able to surf anything from knee-high waves in Florida all the way up to huge waves in Hawaii. And so I was never really going to go on the tour. I always planned on going off to college like my brothers had. And so, yeah, the accident was just around the same time, so it gets kind of blamed for me going the other direction.
Jack Johnson is on with us. He'll be here Friday at Blossom Music Center, livenation.com for tickets. You mentioned going to college. Now, you went to UC Santa Barbara, which has been in the news, unfortunately, over the past few days for this maniac that started killing people out there.
Yeah, so sad. I know.
I mean, when you see something like that, and you went to that school. What goes through your head when you even hear the story for the first time?
It's a crazy town. It's a place where I lived in that exact spot, Isla Vista. I mean, I know the streets that it was all happening on. I was living a block from where it happened, and it's a town that has kids from the age of 18 to, if you're over 25 living in that town, you seem like an old man. And so it's a crazy town because you have so much energy, young energy there. But it's also a beautiful place. I mean, we used to ride our bikes around, and in one night you could find 4 or 5 different jam sessions going on in different garages, and you never had to drive a car. You just ride your bike around. But a lot of people come there and just party, and it gets crazy. And it was so sad. Yeah, I put out a few calls because my niece is going to college there and lives right around the area where it happened, and so they were obviously really sad about the whole thing. And yeah, we're trying to figure out if we can get back there and play a little show or something. We used to play a lot of shows right in the center of town there, and there's this really cool park called Anascoyo Park where a lot of bands would come together and do little daytime shows and things.
Yeah, I mean, you could put together a benefit or something because I was reading the amount of money, Jack, that you have donated to charity. I heard it's, let me see, I don't have it right here in front of me, but let's see. I hear you're like up into like the $30 million range that you've donated to charity. Is that accurate? Is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, it is. I guess when you add it all up over the long period of time we've been doing it. Since 2008, we've really decided just to make our touring into the nonprofit side of what we do. We make a decent living from the record sales and everything, and so yeah, it kind of was one of the things that brought me back out onto the road. It's fun to tour and everything, but also it's nice to be home. And then with all the nonprofit side of what we do, we kind of invite people down to the show from every town, local nonprofit groups that work in mostly environmental education, could be establishing community gardens, could be doing school, like farm to school programs, things like that, or music and art education as well. With all that, it kind of brought us back out on the road working with all these groups, and it's, the whole thing, like you were saying earlier, feels a little bit like a hobby to me still, the music. I mean, I like to keep it that way. I don't like to think of it as work. And so really that working with the nonprofits is more my career now. I feel like it's what we spend a lot of time doing. And so anyways, yeah, that's what.
Do you have some people I've seen on television, like super rich people, they say, They are actually wanting to give away, like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, that sort of stuff. They're giving away most of their money, and they don't want their kids to, as bizarre as it sounds, I mean, they want their kids to be okay, but they don't want to give a big chunk of money to their kids because they think it will make them spoiled. Do you subscribe to that philosophy? I mean, are your kids going to be set up? You've made a lot of money over your career, obviously, but are you going to leave them a big chunk, or are they going to have to fend for themselves to learn the real world?
Well, yeah, I guess you just always want to do the best job you can as a parent, but that's not really the reason that we started giving it away or anything. And I don't even really think of it as giving it away. It's when we gather all these people together for a show, everybody's paying money to come into the show. It's kind of like we're putting that money right back into the community. So we're the lucky ones that get to play music that night and have everybody come and sing along, but really everybody's donating to their own town in a way. It's like it doesn't really go into my bank account and come back out. It's just when people come to the show, that town is putting money back into their town. That's the way we kind of look at it. And so all that money, it's not necessarily like I've donated it all. It's just I've helped raise it all,
Sure. Well, it sounds like Jack is a good guy. Go see his show. This Friday, it's 7:30 p.m. at Blossom Music Center. For tickets, go to livenation.com or call 1-800-745-3000. His website, jackjohnsonmusic.com. Jack, I appreciate you coming on the show this morning, my man.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Have a good one. Jack Johnson.